inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Welcome back to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. I'm your host, Jason Shea. Today, we're joined by Janine, a longtime board game reviewer and content creator who have been covering tabletop games, RPGs, educational games for more than a decade. And her journey really began with homeschooling, but her platform has really grown into something much bigger. And she brings a very unique perspective shaped by supporting, family, navigating different issues herself. And today we'll be talking about how media has been really expanding in the tabletop industry and how even some of the niche games are getting some mainstream attention as well through the power of influencer marketing, etc. So thank you so much for joining us on our podcast today.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so first of all, I know you have been doing content in the industry for a long time, but what make you even want to start creating content for it? What was the story behind your origin, so to speak?
Well, I have loved games ever since I was a kid. Board games have always been like my jam. But I was a programmer for several years, and then I decided to be a homeschooling mom. And trying to keep my kids engaged when doing homework and learning different things was difficult at times, especially with my one kid who's ADHD.
Yeah.
And I found that games is a really great educational tool, and it's expanded so much in the last, I don't know, every day it keeps expanding, right? I started finding these educational games. And then when I went to my homeschooling groups, I found that there were lots of other people that had the same problems. And they started like wanting to know what I was using, the tools I was using, that I was, the games that I was playing. And I was thinking, this might be kind of fun to just kind of make a channel and put it out there and just see how it goes. In the beginning, I did like one video a month or every 2 months or when I had time. And I always tried to include the kids in it to show that there were actual kids, using these tools. And it kind of just grew from there.
I see. Do you still remember the first game that you ever done the content for?
Oh my gosh. I'd have to go back and look. No, I don't think I have. I remember some of the first games, first couple of games that were that really stuck to me as educational. There was one called M is for Mouse that was all about teaching the kids the sounds of the first letter in a word. And it was so much fun. Like I was so tired of these stupid roll the dice and move your person kind of games. And now there's so many new different types, and the kids loved it. And there was another one called Number Chase. I think that was the other one of the very first games that you started using as an educational tool, where the kids could learn not just numbers, but greater than, less than, even, odd. And even an odd, I've noticed with kids, is a really big struggle. Like it takes them longer to understand the whole even odd thing than the other things. So those games really kind of put me out there and said, you know what, I really feel like other people can use these tools to help learn with their kids, even if they're not homeschooling parents. I mean, you just start playing these games with your kid. I mean, they'll be miles ahead.
I see. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And since you have been doing this for such a long time, what have you seen in the media landscape changes for the board game industry over the past 10 years?
So much. So many more people feel like it's feasible to be able to create content and games. The average person now can say, hey, I've got this idea for a game, and I don't necessarily need a publishing company right away. I'm going to start putting it together myself, and they can create that. I mean, so much more kids, more people in the USA. I mean, board gaming was much more bigger in the rest of the world up until 10 or 20 years ago. Now you can find a lot of these games at Target, and Walmart, whereas you never saw that before. And I think that's just amazing.
I see. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. And out of all the different social media platforms you're still using, do you still feel like there's one platform that give more visibility than others? If so, which one do you recommend for like brand owners or game creator if they want to get more visibility on their, on their games and the product they are making? What will be some of your suggestion for like any particular strategy or platform that you would suggest them to focusing on?
Is it a toy? Is it a...
Oops, sorry, I think you are lagging a little bit. Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but you want to go the same direction as whatever it is that you're looking at. So find a product that's similar and look at those publishers and see where they're advertising. Like TikTok has really grown huge with board games, but for some reason, a lot of the publishers don't really look to TikTok just yet. It's still kind of a downplayed platform, and maybe Instagram is probably more popular. But I feel like TikTok has some great advantages on its own, so there's lots of different ways to do it. Some people are just YouTube creators, and that's maybe for the longer content. So I would find another product that's similar to what you're doing, look at how they are marketing and publishing it, and maybe focus on those platforms.
Oh, that's a really good piece of advice. It's called competition research.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's also, some game that all of a sudden becomes super popular. And, that's, but I think the competition is also getting a lot harder as well. As you know, there's a lot more new game coming out every single year because of the reason that you just mentioned. It's a lot easier for common people to launch game without like a huge, you don't really need to own the publishing companies in order to publish your own game nowadays. There's a lot of tool like Kickstarter, like Game Crafter. You can create like a prototype really quickly and very easily. So
right. I used to be able to say that I had almost all the games, like the ones that were popular, and now I can't say that. I see games constantly every single day, or toys or puzzles or whatever that I don't have or I've never heard of, and I was like, where has this been? And I'm a collector, so it's very difficult not to run out and get every single thing that's on the market for me. But you can't anymore because there's so many products. It's just too hard.
Yeah. Is there a particular genre of the game that you like personally more than the other?
Oh, I play all of them. Party games, word games, puzzles. I mean, I do it all. But my very, very favorite is middle to heavyweight Euros. I really like diving into a game and being able to come up with a long-term strategy that will maybe take 3 to 4 hours or even longer sometimes. I really enjoy that.
I see. And as far as your own channel, like what are some of the like content that you're trying to create? Like if you're looking into the content that's resonating right now in 2026, is there any particular content you're focusing on? Like, are you focusing more on short form or long form, or any particular type that you're particularly interested in?
Well, I've really just started really diving into this in the last couple of years, like really saying, okay, I'm going to make this a focus. And it's very difficult. Like there's so many different areas I have interest in. So I'm really starting to narrow it down a little bit, but it's difficult. I don't know that I've come up with just one area yet. I'm working on it and I'm doing research, but I'm really kind of just seeing different areas and seeing which ones have the most traction, which ones seem to have my audience have the most captivation and interaction with, but I mean, there's quite a few different areas. I mean, the RPG world is exploding with so many different people wanting to create games focused around storytelling. The homeschooling world. I mean, there's so many more homeschoolers now. Homeschooling used to be looked down upon like, oh, how are your kids going to be socialized? Well, you know what? My kids talk more than I do. So I don't think there's a problem there. It really depends on how you educate them. If you socialize them and get them out in the world, and there's no excuse not to be socialized anymore, So, I mean, the homeschooling world has blown up and there's so many educational games. I was looking at one the other day that was about, compounds, and the elements and, creating those compounds, which I always struggle with in school. But you know what, if there was a game, maybe I would have done better, So there's a lot of different areas to really focus on. And I've been trying to do probably in the last couple of months, a little bit more of the longer form content on YouTube as well, just because my favorite games, the middle to heavyweight, are just really hard to showcase on short form
Short form
content in like a
content.
minute or
Yeah,
two.
yeah,
It
yeah,
just
yeah.
doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you couldn't really explain the rule properly in the short form
Right,
content.
right, right. I
Yeah,
can go like,
yeah.
okay, here's what it looks like. There you go.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's
And
pretty much it.
I think both me and you are also, I assume you're also attending Gamma this year, correct? So
Yeah, I get
yeah.
to go to the expo this year for the first time. I've never went, and I'm really excited.
Mhm.
There's several publishers that I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to meeting with, and other
I
content
see.
creators that I know that are going to be there. And there's
I
so
see.
many classes to take. I'm so excited.
I see. Yeah, I will be
You're
also
going to be
there.
there too, right?
Yes,
You're going to be
yes, yes.
on one
I'm
of the
actually one
panels.
of the speaker as well. I'm speaking in one of the session. But my follow-up question to that is, you as a content creator, which booth are you going to? And I kind of want to ask this question for the publishers. It's like, because the publisher all want to get more media attention as well. How can the publisher position themselves? Either they are a small publisher, they are a one-man team, or a big company. Do you have, from your perspective, what kind of brand do you actually want to feature on your content? How can the brand and the publisher stand out among the competition as well, from your perspective?
Well, the first thing I do is I look to see who's all attending, and then I look at just the publishers, and then I narrow down some of the stuff. I look to see if they're like advertising anything new. A lot of them will say, hey, we've got this new thing coming up, or this secret thing that we're doing, and that might sound interesting. And so I'll research those. And then I'll start to reach out ahead of time. But for them, I mean, it works both ways. I love when publishers reach out to me and say, hey, I have looked at your channel content, and I think this product that I have might just really go well. You know, I can't tell you how many times too that I get reached out by publishers that want to work with me, and they don't really even look at my content. So they don't even really know what I do. And I'm like, okay, I don't really do that, or that's not really where I'm headed. I mean, I can do it. I've done stuff like that before, but I'm really lately, you can see in the last year, I've really focused on this area. So if there's a publisher that really can research, go and just do some, like searching on the social media networks and find ones that you think might work out. But I love when they reach out to me too. I don't care so much. I know other content creators care about like, incentives, like prizes and stuff like that. Not me. I'm more or less, I would like to really develop a relationship. This is what I'm working on now, actually, to develop some smaller, just a couple more focused relationships with publishers. I want them to know my content. And when I create something for them, I would love to see them engage and put it on their channels as well. Like if they really want me to help them, then they should appreciate my content and want to publish it as well. Like I don't like publishers that just say, okay, and then I never hear anything else. Like I don't even know if they've published my work or where it went, or if I could see it, or, so it's a two-way relationship, and I want it to grow. So later on down the road, when something big comes out, like maybe I'll be one of the first people to be on the edge of that new game that they're publishing and help to create content for it.
I think the media and publisher relationship really need to be a two-way street. You need to reach out. Obviously, they also need to do their own due diligence to make sure they are partnering with the right content creator that the brand can resonate with. I think that you bring up a very, very important point. So you don't just reach out to random influencer or creator without even checking out what they are creating to begin with. So that's very
right. And I think too that there's so many creators out there now too that are willing to just, take a free game for content, that it's more important to research now. If you just want a whole bunch of people to make content and you don't care what kind of content it is and just have your game out there, then okay, that's fine. But if you really want someone to support what you're doing and really like what you're doing and constantly bring it to the table and put it out there for you and do it over time, over and over again, then you need to find that creator that really speaks to your product.
For sure. And also building that relationship in the long term. So the way that we do it for some of our clients, since we also do influencer marketing for our client as well, is to reach out to a lot of influencers. And sometimes they just kind of filter themselves out as well, because sometimes you can see how responsive the influencers are. Do they actually reply to your email? If they do so, do they actually do anything about it? Because the influencer also get busy. They receive like 20, 30, 50 product. like on a weekly basis. Sometimes just
I
sitting in
have
the
a
garage.
big stack on my table behind me of games that I have to review, and all the time. People just I actually canceled a membership to one publisher, and they're still sending me games.
Oh, yeah. So I think that's something the publisher also need to understand. Sometimes it's not the influencer doesn't want to respond, it's they are also overwhelmed. So you just need to kind of gently remind them, say, oh, I sent you the product a month ago. Is this still sitting in your garage? What happened to the game I sent you? You need to kind of remind the influencer as well. Otherwise, just like you say,
and I'm
you have
fine with that because I do forget. I have a lot on my plate, and I try to keep lists. And when I get stuff, even if I don't want it, I try to create content for it, at least a little bit, to help the people out, because I have a hard time saying no. But I really am very passionate about this field, so I want to help them.
For sure,
but
for
sure. I often get overwhelmed.
It's definitely a lot, and it also depends on the board game. Some game is a lot harder to review. For example, the more complex Euro style heavy game that you just mentioned, you need to actually understand the rule. That itself can take you like a 30 minutes to an hour to understand the rule properly before you can do a content for it too,
even
right?
more.
So,
Even
sometimes
more.
even
Some
more.
of the
Sometimes
one
even
I
more.
just did took like 2 hours to teach.
2 hours to
Yeah.
teach it. So it is also a lot of time
Yeah.
commitment on the creator side. So I think sometimes the brand need to understand that. So, and I want to
Yeah.
go back to a previous topic that you mentioned. You talk a lot about cognitive engagement when it comes to board games. How do you feel like the board game really help children to develop focus and problem solving skills?
Well, I am kind of a hypocrite because I'm using social media for my engagement, but there's
Yeah.
a big part of me that really hates the phone and it being everywhere. And in today's world, it's very difficult to step away from that. I mean, you see people in restaurants with their phone right next to them and checking them all the time. And these kids are just so, they get these dopamine hits from that, that's that short form content, and just one after another. So it's very hard to compete with that. So the fact that this board game industry has really opened up to a whole bunch of different themes and topics and different types of games, I feel like really helps that engagement. Because if you can match up a game or a theme, even in the game, with a kid or an adult even, that really can get into it, really invest their time in it, then that right there increases the engagement, just not just with the people sitting at the table, the interaction if you're a family member or a teacher with a student, but also with their engagement with actually being able to concentrate. Because it's been proven, especially with all this social media, that over time our attention span is diminishing. And I think it's really important to have that engagement that's away from screens and away from the computer and away from your phone. And I feel like board gaming, in the toy industry really, really does that.
Yeah, that's a really good, solid point. That's something I think I also struggle with. As a parent, I have 3 kids, and everyone is always on their iPad after they finish their homework, obviously. But
Yep.
it's definitely a struggle. And one more thing I also want to follow up on, since I also have kids with ADHD, and so do you. In the ADHD household, what have you seen game do differently compared to other form of entertainment?
Well, my one ADHD kid sometimes has a harder time relating to his brothers, for example. And if we can find a game as a family, it not only brings us together, but if we can find one that he can engage with and really pay attention to, so he's not, distracted so easily, it not only helps him focus more and increase his focus and retention time, and that skill, so he's better at homework and other things, but it also benefits the relationship with his brothers, especially. I'm seeing them be able to connect a little bit more, joke a little bit more, laugh a little bit more together.
I see.
And I really enjoy seeing that too,
Yeah, that's
as a
wonderful
family.
that you can create that. How old are your kids again?
They're all teens now. I've got an 18-year-old who's probably going to go off to college or somewhere next fall. And then I have a twin 15 and a half year olds who are
okay.
learning how to drive, but one of the twins is the ADHD one. So
I see. Do they still play board game in their teens now?
yes,
Okay,
because
okay.
I mean, I started it when they were really little, so
Yeah.
it's still a thing. And even though I've gotten some pushback as they've gotten older, oh, mom, I don't want to play games again. I kind of use it as an incentive when
Yeah.
they like forget a chore. Well, you didn't do a chore, so now you have to do another chore. Or you could play a game with me.
I like that.
So that's how I get games to the table a lot. How do you get your kids to play? Well, I blackmail them. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, I like that strategy. I mean, it's nothing wrong about it. It's just trying to have some good like quality family time instead of just
It does. It brings us closer together, and they all like different types of games. So that helps me get to these games that I have to get, that I got from the publishers to get to the table, when I'm struggling to find the time to do that, and I do it when they owe me money too. So I'm like, well, you can work off $5 if you play this game with me, and it's 20 or 30 if you play a long game with me.
I see. I see how it
works.
That worked. That's a good strategy to have more family game time. That's really important as well, for sure. And I guess my next question, obviously we talk about the household and the impact of the game for the kids and also for the teens. But I want to kind of switch focus to talk a little bit on addressing on the creator side. I know as a creator yourself, there's also a lot more competition, just like the publisher is facing right now. For the creator that's entering this media space today, what opportunity do you still see that for the newcomer that they can still come in and create content and still like try to make a living for themselves, so on and so forth?
Well, it's very, very difficult because the field is so saturated. There are quite a few content creators out there. I think that I would probably tell people to really find something that you enjoy, a niche somewhere, and really focus on that. It's something actually that I'm still trying to do. Like I'm touching a lot of different areas right now, but I'm still trying to figure out where I really want my niche and my focus to be. But there's so many different areas now that you can focus on. They've created, there's new and different types of games. Like I mentioned before, there's new types of RPGs, there's new toys, there's new types of puzzles that are made just for kids, or just for like, aging adults or, that kind of thing. There's, we have kids that have the neurodivergent, issues. There's games and toys that just focus on those, find out like what you're most interested in and focus on that. Because if you look at other content creators, and this is how I started, I was like, oh, this guy does this, I can do this too. Well, yeah, I can do it. But if you really want to stand out, you need to find something that you're good at, you're passionate about, and that is different than what everybody else is doing, I think.
That's very important. And people can tell when they're watching your content is like, if you're passionate about the game or the specific genre you're talking about, people can feel that too. So they are more engaged.
I agree. Which leads me to, and I don't know, I'm just real quick side thing here, but I was listening to some of your stuff, one of your podcasts, or I don't remember what it was, something you were talking about a while ago, and you were talking to publishers, I think it was, and you were telling them not to micromanage their content.
The influencer, yes.
And that I wanted to like yell and do a cheer when I heard that. I was like, that's so, I love that, because I had this one publisher once that I just don't work with anymore at all, because they micromanage, and they wanted to edit my videos. I had people that wrote on there and said, this sounds like a commercial, I'm out. And I lost followers because I got so like, listen, if you want a professional marketing firm, then go ahead and hire one. I mean, our content creators are unique and wonderful because they're all individuals and they have their own view and way of doing things.
Yes. Yeah,
so,
that's a very good point. Because if you're micromanaging the influencer, you lose the authenticity that the influencer is really good at.
Right.
So,
and that's what people respond to. That's why content creation is so important and so big.
Yes,
you know?
100%. And unfortunately, I guess some older people in the industry doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
understand that. It's, oh, you need to read word for word. This is a script. I hire you to read it. You're like the actor. It's like, no, you're not
Right,
hiring an
right,
actor. You're hiring an influencer to influence and show your games in the positive light. But if
right.
you take away all the creative freedom from the influencer, they just become another like ad. They become an actor reading from the script, and
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
see the
and I
purpose.
I I hated it. By the end,
So,
I made a good amount of money off this company, and, by the end, I was like, "I'm done." But it
yeah.
also ended up making me, put a clause in my contracts that I
Mhm.
that that talk about editing and how many times they're allowed to do edits, and, so I learned. It was a great
Yeah,
learning experience,
yeah,
but, it was
yeah.
not something that I wanna repeat.
Yeah, but and that's a very good lesson to share with like our publishing friends here that's listening to the show to make sure they don't do that. You're turning
Right.
away, you're turning off the influencer that even want to work with you going forward.
Right,
So
right.
very, very, very good point. So, but looking ahead into 2026 and beyond, what are some of your goal for your media company and all the things you're doing as far as content creation?
I think I want to focus more on some niches, some different areas. I'm not sure what those are yet. I have a few
Okay.
ideas. I want to develop some relationships with publishers. Like I want to kind of narrow it down and pick a couple of publishers that want to form a relationship with me and my content,
Okay.
and really have somebody that I really can focus on and promote that I really feel passionate about. I want to do some more long format content because I love the longer, heavier games, and
Oh, okay.
I think that putting some more stuff out there is good.
Yeah.
I want to do some more content on mega games because there's
Mm,
hardly anything out there, and they're amazing.
okay.
I think those are just some of my goals. I have a whole long list, but yeah.
I see. And as we're kind of wrapping up today's conversation here, and thank you so much for sharing all your experience and your knowledge. If you have to just share one piece of advice with someone that's getting started in the toys and game industry, what would that be?
For anybody that's getting started,
Could be because you're also a creator, maybe for other creator as well that's trying to get started.
well, for creators specifically, I would say that make sure you find something that there's joy in. Don't
Mm,
ever let it become a job or work, because
mm,
if you get to a point where people are like I had with the micromanaging or taking
mm,
that joy away from you, you need to
mm.
find satisfaction or joy in what you do at the end of every day, no matter how much
Mhm.
work it
Yeah.
is or how stressed you get. And if that's
Yes.
gone, then there's what
Yeah.
you might as well just go find another job, work for somebody
Yeah.
else.
That's
There's no
true.
point.
That's true. That's
But,
true. Yeah.
but for anybody else that's in the toy community, pay attention to, the different content creators and find out the ones that you really, really like, and focus
Right.
on that and see if that's the area that you want,
Mm,
and whether you're a publisher or a creator, that goes along the same wavelength, really
mhm,
try to form relationships with other people in the industry
mhm,
that have the same vision as
mhm,
you,
mhm.
because I think that's really important.
I see. Yeah, that's a very good piece of advice. And for our listener and audience that want to learn a little bit more about you and what you do, where is the best place for people to find you online?
Well, my channel is called Geek My Games, and I'm
Mhm,
on almost all the social media channels. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram. I
mhm.
have a Linktree,
Yeah.
link. I'm on YouTube. I do short form content and long form content.
Mhm.
I'm on Facebook as well. So
I
Geek My
see.
Games at any of
Mhm.
those social media
Okay.
outlets.
Perfect. We'll make sure we put that in the show note. And thank you again for your time today, sharing your story and your knowledge with the rest of our audience.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for our audience for tuning in to this episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. I hope today's conversation give you some fresh insight and inspiration for growing your own toys or game brands. This podcast is proudly brought you by Toy Launch, a leading marketing and growth partner for toys and game companies. At Toy Launch, we help brands scale on Amazon and beyond through full service account management, advertising, SEO, creative, catalog optimization, influencer marketing, and more. If you're looking for a proven team that understands both the toys and game industry and the e-commerce marketing, we're here to help. If you like a personalized breakdown of your brand, your opportunity, and your next best step, you can schedule a free consultation session with us. Just visit toy-launch.com/schedule. If you want to connect with other toys and game founders, join our free communities, Toys and Game Launchpad. And for more resource updates and industry insight, visit us anytime at toy-launch.com. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joys to toys. This is Jason Shea signing off on the Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.